Hi, good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Fuksa. How are you guys today? So first I want to apologize because the cardinal rule with what I try to do with you guys is to stay consistent because, I explained to a lot of people who follow me who want to do this as well that they have to stay consistent. They have to be on at regular times so that you guys, when you're watching, you know roughly when we're going to be on, roughly that the topics are on point on things that you want to talk about, that you want to understand about. And I've been really off on that and I have to apologize. Usually no matter what's going on, I am pretty laser focused about making sure that I come to you a couple times a week to talk to you about a lot of things: leadership, team building, real estate, home buying, home selling, because I have experience in all those different areas. I'm not the expert. I don't know everything about everything, but I do have some experiences in all those different areas and I like to share them with you. And I try to do it pretty consistently. Sometimes I do more, rarely do I do less, but the last week I was not online at all, and I really am sorry about that. It did remind me, though, that sometimes when things happen in your life, those are things that we need to talk about because it happens to you too, and I want you to understand and know that it's okay sometimes for things to get a little off track. But you have to pick yourself up and make sure that you're moving on back in the same line that you wanted to be in for your success, for your purpose, for all of the reasons that you get up and what you want to achieve and where you want to be and how you want things to happen. So I'm back, I'm on, I'm ready to talk to you guys again, and I apologize for the off. So today I thought I'd talk about exactly why I was off because it brings to mind a lot of questions. So when something happens suddenly to someone in your world and you get a little off track, the thing I wanted to talk about today was what happens to their real estate. So last week, a lot of you know, we had somebody in our family pass away, and it was very sudden, and we had lots of people coming in and out and moving parts and things going on, and so that's why I just didn't have the brain power to stop and put together some conversation to talk with you guys about. But it did keep rising in my mind to share with you what happens, because this is exactly what's happening in this scenario is, so what happens when someone passes away suddenly? What happens to their real estate? So you would think that they were the owner on the property and, there's some certain processes that happen with that, but it sort of depends on who is listed on that ownership at the particular time when they pass. No one expects to pass away, especially at an early age. And so when it happens and things aren't prepared properly, then it leaves a lot of left unknowns and angst problems for the people that are surviving. So in this particular scenario, there's several pieces of property with several different owners and no definition of what that's supposed to look like. So for a long time, we thought that there wasn't even a will, and we thought that, wow, how are we going to figure out what he intended? Not only that, but the people that are left behind that may or may not have an interest, how do they even know what was intended? So the first thing I want to recommend to you is if you own a piece of property and you don't have it set up with the owners involved listed as the owner of that property, get that taken care of today. And the reason is because if something happens to you tomorrow, you step off a curb, you get hit by a car, God forbid, you fall asleep and you don't come back to us, then that's the kind of thing that you're not prepared for. You're not saving the people that are left behind to take care of things in a way that you want it to be done. Particularly, and here's a prime example, and I've talked about this before, but let's say you purchased a piece of property before you got married or got a significant other that really mattered to you, and you want that person to own that property if something happens to you, then you better take care of it right this minute. It's really not hard to do. In some states, an attorney has to take care of it for you. In some states, a title company can take care of it for you. But pick up the phone and call the company that did your closing if you trust them and you respect them. If you don't remember who it was or know about that, call the realtor that you worked with and get advice from them on who can take care of this for you. Get those things taken care of right now, just like any other estate planning. But this is the largest asset that you will ever own in your life unless you upsize to a new home. Make sure that whoever is on that piece of property is who you want to own it if something happens to you. Most of us think that it'll never happen, or it's not going to happen for now, it's not going to happen for a long time, and it may. It does. And this has happened 3 times to us in the past year when it has happened suddenly, someone very unexpectedly passed away and the things weren't taken care of properly. And so you need to make sure that the property is set up in a way that the people that are surviving you that you want to own that property are listed on the ownership of that property. That way, that part, that most important asset, is not something that has to go through a legal battle. It automatically goes to them. So I want you to understand, if they're listed on that piece of property, depending on how it's listed, then they automatically get the ownership of that property. You do not know if something's going to happen to you tomorrow. Make sure that your legal affairs are in order. Most particularly the house that you own. Is the significant other or the spouse that you now are married to listed on the ownership of the property? Because in certain states, they automatically get that property anyway because it's part of your estate, but that house has to go through an estate process. And if anybody else has an interest in that estate, then they are going to be potentially arguing with you to determine the value and who should get the ownership. And it's going to have to go through the process. If you know right now that you want that to go to your now wife or your significant other or your brother or your sister, then put them on the ownership of that property. Make that listing happen so it doesn't have to go through the court process, because it's not fair to those people that are surviving. They are already struggling with so much, and the property which they thought they owned should automatically be listed as them in the ownership. So my 2 cents for today. Thanks so much for being genuine and caring about the fact that I was off the radar last week. Sometimes things get in the way. I apologize, those are popping in. Sometimes things get in the way, and I try very hard to stay on track with you guys, but last week was just a really tough one. So thanks for putting up with me and being back on. I really appreciate it. And if there's anything I can help you do, I owned a title company for more than 30 years, and my passion is to make sure that you understand what the title company can do for you. There's so many things that your title company understands, knows about, and can help you understand and can help you navigate. They're not just the ones who sit down with you at the closing table and get you to sign the papers. There's so many things that they do to make sure that your property is protected, and I can help you navigate, understand what that is and who they are. So reach out to me. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. If you have a question about something and you don't want to share it publicly, message me individually, because the things I like to share are the things that you don't understand. And so from 30 years of experience in that environment, I don't know all the answers, but I do know a lot, and I can find the answers for you if there's somebody else that's better qualified to answer it than I. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I love talking to you, and I really appreciate you tuning in to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Fuksa. I'll talk to you again soon, guys. Bye-bye.